Hello YouTube, I'm Justin the Red. That's just a nickname my friends call me. This is the first time I've put a video on YouTube. I consider myself a Hebrew Israelite in as much as I come from Christianity, but I decided to start living by the Torah of Yahweh. It's given to the Israelites through his prophet Moshe. I've been doing that for going on 5 years now, my wife and I. And I've been hesitant about making videos on YouTube just because of whatever controversy I might stir up, because I'm not too gentle when it comes to breaking the truth to people sometimes. I've been working on it. What I want to talk about today is a misunderstanding in Scripture. I hope it's a misunderstanding. I'll give people the benefit of the doubt. And this misunderstanding is causing some division among Hebrew Israelites, particularly black and white Hebrew Israelites. Now, I don't care about color. I really don't. I've got more black friends than I got white friends, and I live in the Ozarks. I've dated black women. I've got a nephew whose mother's black. So I don't care. But I do see people that I respect getting raked over the coals for welcoming white people into their assemblies. Because certain pastors or Hebrew Israelites seem to think that these white folks are Edomites. Now, this is funny to me, and simply because I kind of have a better understanding. But I thought that I'd be a good one to represent this particular problem, since I'm white-skinned and covered in red hair. But let's look at what it says in Scripture about this. So maybe we can put this to rest, or I might just be causing more problems than I'm going to be solving here. Of course, the father of Edom is Esau, that is Jacob's twin. And when he was born, he was covered in red hair. And they were warring in the womb. And the angel of Yahweh told their mother that she had two nations inside them. The younger would serve, and the older would serve the younger. And they would always be at war. Let's look at Genesis 25:21. Give me a second while I get there. Now, I'm reading from the Complete Jewish Bible, not because I want to be Jewish, not because I am Jewish, because David Stern does the best and most easily understood translation that I've ever read. It's in modern English with a few Hebrew words. Alright, Genesis 25:21. Yitzhak prayed to Yahweh on behalf of his wife because she was childless. Yahweh heeded his prayer, and Rivkah became pregnant. The children fought with each other inside her so much that she said, "If it's going to be like this, why go on living?" So she went to inquire of Yahweh, who answered her, "There are two nations in your womb. From birth they will be two rival peoples. One of these people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger." Of course, when the time for her delivery came, there were twins in her womb. The first to come out was reddish and covered all over with hair like a coat. So they named him Esau, which meant completely formed, that is, having hair already. Then his brother emerged with his hand holding Esau's heel. So he was called Yaakov, or Jacob. He catches by the heel, he supplants, is what that name means. Okay. So, I guess if you have red hair, you're labeled an Edomite. Don't know where the white skin came from, because it doesn't say he had white skin, just said he was covered in hair. Red hair. but I guess that counts all of us people of Irish descent among the Edomites. Well, let's go there for a brief moment. You can't tell somebody's lineage by looking at their skin. That's just silly. Maybe their immediate lineage, but Edom, that's way back there. Way back there. On my father's side, we are Irish, Scottish, and English. Welsh, whatever you want to call it. My mother's side, we are of 3 tribes of Native American. That is Apache, Choctaw, and Osage. And she's darker than some black folks that I've seen. And you can tell who I took after. But my point is, you don't know by looking what somebody's got in their family. Now, way back there, not as far back as Edom, but way back there, the kings of Ireland came from, the original kings that I know of came from Egypt. Then there was kings from Spain later on that conquered Ireland. There's a lot of mixing going on in white people's lineage and in black people's lineage. You have no idea until you do a genetic test to see what genes are prominent in your makeup. Which doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's a moot point. Who cares? It's just going to cause you to break off into a certain clique and separate from people you should otherwise be fellowshipping with, namely Israelites. Of any color, doesn't matter. Alright, let's talk about, I'm going to play the game here and let's go along and imagine that, yeah, all white folk are Edomite. Okay, if I didn't convince you that it's a silly notion, we'll go ahead. What's Esau do to Jacob? Well, he got mad when he stole his birthright and he planned to kill him, and then Jacob ran off to live with Laban. But Esau didn't hurt him. He just got mad at him, and most of y'all would too if you got tricked out of your birthright and blessing. However, in Genesis 33:4, they meet back up, and they hug each other, and they're crying, and they're happy to see each other. They get along, they break camp, they go their separate ways. So it looks like there's some forgiveness there. Now this is the Bible. I'm not talking about Jasher. I've read Jasher, and I know that there are many skirmishes, battles, and wars between the sons of Israel and the sons of Esau. And even still, I'm going to show you why that doesn't matter. Because I don't discount Jasher. I believe it to be true. But it doesn't matter that they had wars. Israel fought a lot of people. Alright. In Numbers 20:18, the Edomites don't let the Israelites come through their land. That was one thing. That's one way they slighted them. They weren't the only ones to do that. Deuteronomy 2:29, Moses says that Edom let them pass. Now, people have trouble reconciling this, and to tell you the truth, I'm not completely understanding of this, but I know that certain scholars have indicated that the reason was that the time between Numbers 20:18 and Deuteronomy 2:29, the Israelites came back around Mount Seir, and it was a side of the mountain that was less advantageous strategically to the Edomites. So they, not having the advantage, they went ahead and allowed them to pass through their land, and they sold them food and water. You can find that in Kyle and Delitzsch Commentary on Old Testament 1.747 is where I found it. Now, like I said, the past between Israel and Edom is of little consequence. And I'm saying this because if you look in Deuteronomy 23, let's go to Deuteronomy 23, 3 is where we're going to start. Deuteronomy 23, 3. No Ammonite or Moabite may enter the assembly of Yahweh, nor may any of his descendants down to the 10th generation excuse me, ever enter the assembly of Yahweh, because they did not supply you with food and water when you were on the road after leaving Egypt, and because they hired Balaam the son of Beor from Petor in Aram Naharaim to put a curse on you. But Yahweh your God would not listen to Balaam. Rather, Yahweh your God turned the curse into a blessing for you, because Yahweh your God loved you. So you are never to seek their peace or well-being as long as you live. Now let's go back up to 23:3. Did it say no Edomite may enter the assembly of Yahweh? No. No. No Ammonite or Moabite. Now what color are they? Who cares? Because it's well beyond the 10th generation. Let's go down to 23:7, right after where I left off. But you are not to detest an Edomite, because he is your brother, and you are not to detest an Egyptian, because you lived as a foreigner in his land. The 3rd generation of children born to them may enter the assembly of Yahweh. That's Deuteronomy 23:7. A command from Yahweh through Moses not to detest Edomites, which I'm not, and most white folks aren't either. Stop being racist. It's ridiculous. We got bigger problems. The 3rd generation of children born to them may enter the assembly of Yahweh. Alright, what does that mean, the assembly of Yahweh? Not only can they enter into your run-of-the-mill assembly, Hebrew roots, Messianic, whatever assembly you want to call it, not only can Edomites or white folk or anybody go in there, they were allowed into the assembly of Yahweh when there was only one assembly of Yahweh. The Edomites were allowed in among the God of Israel and his holy people after the 4th generation. So tell me exactly what your justification for ostracizing Edomites and potential Edomites, or anybody for that matter, could be. Because last I checked, we had a mixed multitude coming out of Egypt, and that's all kinds of folks. And they were allowed to be among Israel, not separated from them, among Israel, and they were counted as part of Israel, because there's one law for the native born and one law for the sojourner among Israelites. And anyone can convert and follow the Torah, become circumcised, and he is counted an Israelite. So I'm having trouble discerning the reason behind this nonsensical separation within our people. I've heard a lot of reasons to separate and a lot of reasons not to get along, but this one makes no sense, and it is actually an offense to Yahweh if you discriminate against Edomites. So y'all might have to find a different name for me and go on about your racist ways another way, but Edomites is out. Sorry guys. We got bigger problems. I mean, we have the United Nations wanting to give the names of all the holy places in Israel back to the Palestinians, or to the Palestinians if they ever had them. If they were the Philistines, like I guess that's what they're claiming, that's what they're trying to do, give it back. We've got a pope who last year revised the 10 Commandments, adding to and removing from them in Ecuador. You can look it up. We've got an offshoot of Islam that most people call radical Islam. I might get in trouble for saying that. And they behead people like you and me. And people who aren't like you and me. In fact, anybody who's not them, they're going to cut your head off, rape your wife and children. And we're fighting amongst each other over what? Stuff that ain't even scripturally based? Help me here, people. Help me. Let's get together. Let's work together. Let's sort this out. And become a light to the nations like we're supposed to be. Instead of having them look at us and say, oh, they got all the same kind of problems we do. They got racists. They got people who don't obey the commands of God. How are they different than us? Well, if we don't act different than they do, then guess what? We're not counted as different. We're not counted as set apart and kodesh or holy for Yahweh. And we'll be cursed the same way as everybody else because we're acting just like them. So let's cut it out. Or not. Choice is yours. I'm just making a suggestion, showing you what I know regarding this stupid separation. Alright, shalom. Love y'all all.